So welcome everyone. Again, Olive Fit and Fun is about being fit and also about the fun element. And today's session is one of those. We are so happy to have my fellow team member, Anu Pala, as our speaker today, who is going to talk about practicing self-care. Now, in all our mental health related sessions, we've talked about self-care and how important it is. And many times it's hard for us to even come up with different examples where how we can practice self-care. So this is one of those sessions that we're going to highlight them. And I would like to introduce our speaker, Anu Pala. She is an accessibility and inclusion consultant, certified life coach, trainer, public speaker, and freelance writer. Anu provides services through her business, Anu Vision, coaching and consulting. She also works as the administration coordinator with Olive and as the fundraising communications coordinator at Surrey Women's Center in Canada. Anu has worked in the nonprofit sector for over 20 years in the areas of fundraising, communications, program coordination, career development, technology training, and event coordination. Anu has also worked as a radio broadcaster and now produces a podcast called Anu Vision podcast. Anu values diversity, inclusion, and equality for all, and her philosophy is to experience life with enthusiasm, positivity, and a glass half full attitude. So Anu, it is always a pleasure to have you on board and a pleasure to work with you because you are so inspiring. So take it away. I have your PowerPoint. I'll have it ready in a few minutes, but you can go ahead.
No worries. Thank you so much for that introduction, Zainab. Really appreciate it. And hello and salam alaikum to everybody. It's so nice to be here on the call or Zoom meeting with you all today. So I've done some of these presentations in the past, and so it's always great to, come here at this time and connect with all of you. Always doing a lot of work for Olive, but it's always a pleasure to connect with the Olivers, and because you are really what makes Olive what it is. So great to be here. You've already heard a little bit about me, but what I will just mention that it was not in, I don't know if it was in my bio or not, but I do live with complete vision loss. And so that is just one piece I like to mention right off the bat to my participants, because sometimes glitches happen with technology and whatnot. And so people, wonder, oh, what's the delay and whatnot. So just asking for your patience, that if there are any little technical issues, that just have your grace with that. But with regards to the topic of self-care, it's something that I am very, very passionate about because I think it is just such a crucial piece in ensuring that we're doing the best to take care of ourselves, because I really feel that, when we don't take care of ourselves, then we're really not able to take care of our loved ones, our friends, and all the other aspects of our life. And I think this is something, especially as women, we often don't take time for ourselves. And so I think that it's very, very important that we revisit this from time to time, because sometimes we know what we're supposed to do, and we've learned about it, and maybe we've practiced it at some point in our lives, but are we really keeping up with it? And sometimes it's these types of gentle nudges and reminders that remind us that, okay, hey, we need to really, pay attention to this. So before we get started, I thought we'd go around and do a little icebreaker, because I like to have fun. So I would like to know from all of you, if you could be any flavor of ice cream, what flavor would you be and why? So in a group setting, I would partner you up and whatnot, but because this is virtual, I'll just give you all like a minute to think about that. And it's really interesting to hear the different types of responses that that we get. But think about the flavors of ice cream and what that means to you. Not just about, oh, I like strawberry, but think about the significance of the particular flavor. So just to give you an example, so you know kind of what I'm like looking for. When I'm asked this question or when I do this exercise, I always choose Rocky Road. And I choose Rocky Road because it has because that flavor has some elements to it. It has marshmallows. Marshmallows are really soft, and that represents my heart and my personality is that I'm kind of cushy and soft. But having said that, the Rocky Road also has some nuts in there too. And there's a very strong aspect of my personality as well. And so really resilient. And so those nuts kind of signify or represent that part of the ice cream flavor. And then chocolate, well, who doesn't like chocolate? So that's my addiction. And so, yeah. And so that's why I choose Rocky Road. So I'll just give you 20 seconds to think about that. And maybe less. All right, so who would like to start? I can't see the names, so maybe if someone could just volunteer to go first and then pass it on to the next person. Go ahead.
Mango.
Oh, mango, that's a lovely flavor. And why would you choose mango?
Because I love everything about mango.
Okay. What's your most favorite thing about mango?
Well, it's such a, I mean, you can peel it, you can dice it. I mean, it's like a person, you can do so many things with it. Like you were describing Rocky Road, remember?
Mm-hmm. That's so true. That's actually my mom's favorite ice cream too. She loves mango. She's addicted to mango. Good choice. Thank you. Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, I like vanilla because I just love it, and you can mix it with many other flavors.
All
And
right.
you can top it with so many different things and still have that distinct taste of vanilla in it.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. Who's next?
I'll go. I like butter pecan.
All right. And why do you like butter pecan?
Well, I love butter, anything with butter in it. I know it's not as healthy for us, but I love butter and I love pecans. The same thing you were talking about, it's a nut. It's hard to crack sometimes, but when you get inside it, it's delicious.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And I love the creaminess of the butter pecan ice cream.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Who's next?
Zubeda auntie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, okay. I will say I like vanilla ice cream because I love that. I like the flavor of it. It smells so good. It's cool, calm. And as it was said that you can get mixed, we can mix it up with a lot of other things too. And it has only one flavor. That's it.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nicola, would you like to go next?
Sure, Nicola. This is a hard question to try and fit myself into an ice cream flavor, but an interesting one. But I actually, as far as what ice creams I like the best, I am a butter pecan person as well, and I do like the nuttiness of the nuts, and that probably I'm a bit of a nut sometimes, and can get a bit wacky, and then I can be very smooth and creamy the other times, and very sweet. Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Love it. Thank you.
All right. And Sister Rabia Chanya, do you want to go next? What's your favorite flavor, or what ice cream flavor you would like to be? You would have to unmute yourself first.
I like custard apple
Custard
ice
apple?
cream.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I've never
That's
heard of that.
Wow.
very nice.
That's a unique flavor.
Yes. Yes.
Good apple.
All right. Thank you. I'll go next since I'm the last one, I think. I like, my favorite flavor is pecan praline from, I think Baskin Robbins has it, and it is very similar to butter pecan. And I like the nuttiness, so a little crunch and a little softness to it. So I think that also describes my personality. So a little bit of everything. I like texture. So that's what I love about it. And I think if I could be a flavor, that would be the one.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for taking part in this little icebreaker. It just gives me an opportunity to just hear your voice and get to know a little bit about you, because you know what, ice cream can tell a lot about a person. So that's great. I'm not sure if you have the slides up now, Zainab.
I do.
But I'm on the definitions of what is self-care. So what is self-care? So self-care is what people do for themselves to establish and maintain health and to prevent and deal with illness. So this is a definition by the World Health Organization. And so all these different kinds of practices that we incorporate into our lives contribute to our health and wellness and well-being. So I'm going to ask, who here implements any kind of self-care practices? I'm not sure if we'll talk more about, what these would look like, but just off the bat, is anyone here doing anything that, implements self-care?
Yeah, this is Nicola. I attend a lot of meetings online. I have had addictions in the past to alcohol and things like that when I was going through some very tough times. So I attend these meetings to keep me socialized and not isolated, and to share my feelings. I have therapy all the time. I was attending a lot of support groups for depression, chronic depression, for many years, but now that's all on Zoom. And I've just had my third knee surgery 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm still trying to reach out and attend things like this, and have people come visit me, try to keep myself clean. I do a little bit of meditation every day for about 8 minutes, and I've been doing journaling. I pray, and I have a gratitude list that I write every day and send to my sponsor. And I think just all these things, I really like the definition of what you said is what maintains and helps us to prevent and deal with illness. I never thought of self-care that way, but I think that's wonderful. And that's my input for right now. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I think that you hit the nail on quite a few of these points I'm going to be speaking about. So that's fabulous. So next slide. So we're going to get into this and talk a little bit about all the different aspects of self-care and what that looks like. So connecting with others. So doing exactly what we're all doing here today. The last year, more than ever, we have recognized the importance and the value of connections. And we've really felt it because as a result of the pandemic, many of us were restricted from meeting our loved ones and our friends and our networks. And that has played a huge role on a lot of people's mental health. Can anyone relate to that here?
Yes, definitely. Very much. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know within my personal circles as well, like a lot of my friends are have really felt it. And then of course working from home for many of us as well, and especially for some of those who are working from home or living at home, and then not being able to see anybody. It's played a really huge role on our mental health and our well-being. And we also know that many seniors, many elders experience isolation and loneliness. And so, even more so, it's very important to ensure that we all stay connected in some way or form, especially family and friends. And I mean, sometimes people don't have family that they can connect with. So there's other ways, that you can connect with others as well. So let's just talk about some of the examples here. So checking on your neighbors, for example. So some people who don't have people they can directly see physically, just maybe even, depending on what your situation is, if you're able to just meet, if you're living in a condo or like in an apartment, for example, just checking on a neighbor from a distance or giving them a phone call. I know that I don't often, meet my friends just for different reasons. And so we live in a townhouse complex. And so when you just step outside, all of a sudden there's all these people around you, your neighbors or someone who lives down the street. And just those little exchanges of hi, hellos, how are you doing? Talk about the weather, anything that gets you engaged with others is really beneficial and helpful. Exercising safely, with others. So whether it's going for a walk with a friend or neighbor or family member, maybe if you have a park nearby, it's always great to be in nature. So just having the ability to connect with people. And even if it's like just going to by yourself, there's always people on the street, you can exchange even eye contact. Sometimes you may not talk to the person, but it's just those gentle exchanges as well that can, make a difference. Oops, give me 1 second here. So join groups and clubs. So exactly like with Olive here, for example, you all meet once a week for all these different classes. Well, actually, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And so all these different classes that you attend as well. Those are extremely beneficial in terms of exchanging ideas and sharing, learning. So valuable and so important. And I really commend all of you who are committed to attending Olive programs, because you may not know all the time and effort and energy that goes into putting these programs together for you. And I'm not on the programming end, but I know Zainab and the team takes so much pride in putting these programs together for our Olivers. And so it's really great to hear. And I'm on those chats as well. So I hear you all engaging on the chat as well. And so it's really great to be able to do that.
How are you, beta? Let me mute myself.
Sure. So using technology and apps, this is another really, nice way to stay engaged in a different way. Even though you may not be connecting with humans all the time, connecting through technology is another way to stay engaged, whether it's tapping into articles that you're reading online or just doing some online research on a topic. Nowadays, most people have mobile devices. So, using these different types of apps, even WhatsApp, for example, Instagram or Facebook, depending on your skill level, your interest. These are ways that we can also connect, with others. I know back in the day, my family, like we're actually from Fiji. And I remember when we first migrated to Canada, when I was a baby, we we would not be able to even speak to our relatives because it was so expensive in those days to make a long distance call. And as new immigrants, you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money, you're trying to make a life, you're missing your family. My parents, I remember they would still call home, call back to our relatives, but it was really difficult. And now with the technology, just WhatsApp has enabled us to stay more connected with family. And we have a lot of family overseas in Australia and New Zealand and Fiji and the States and all over the place. And it's really amazing to be able to, as a result of technology, be able to connect with those, relatives. And so connecting is really, really, a big thing. I'm a real people person myself. And so I find when I don't have those connections, it's really sad for me. I've noticed that it really impacts my own, wellness and well-being as well. Anyone have any questions on that or anything you want to share before we go on to the next slide? Does this resonate for you? No? Okay. All right, well, let's go on to the next slide then. So we're going to talk now about practicing gratitude. So we know that evidence has shown that gratitude is associated with many, many things, better physical and psychological health, greater happiness in life and satisfaction, higher self-esteem, less materialistic, endeavors. There's just so many benefits to practicing gratitude. And Nicola talked about this a little while ago in terms of writing in a gratitude journal. So it's really important for all of us, for that matter, to give thanks each and every day when we wake up, because we are just, so blessed to be living in the West. Just knowing what's happening in Afghanistan right now and other countries, of course, but of course, Afghanistan is on the forefront of our minds right now. And it's just painful to watch, wow, what's going on there right now. And to know that, I know in my lifetime, my friends and I were just talking about this, that, in our lifetime, we have never had to deal with anything like what those people there are experiencing, and other people in other countries as well, that whether it's war, they've experienced war or danger or, just that freedom, like a lot of people, a lot of women who don't have the freedom to do the everyday things that we just take for granted. And so that is just so much for us to be grateful for. And I know this can be a challenge for some people sometimes, especially when we're going through tough times. Sometimes it's for some, it can be really difficult to even think like, what is there to be grateful for? I work with clients who are marginalized in many ways. And sometimes when I'm working through things with them, it's hard to hear them say that I have nothing to be happy about. I have nothing. What is there in my life? And to get them out of that state of mind can be a challenge sometimes. But when you get there and you help them recognize that, oh, yeah, I do have so many other things in my life that are going well, that's where that energy shift happens. And I really feel that when we do practice that art of that gratitude every single day, we are putting those positive vibes and that positive energy out there into the world. And that is what we are attracting back to us. So I'm a really, really big proponent and a believer of that. And so I really encourage everyone. I'm sure you're all doing that anyways, but I like to always bring it up because it is such a vital part of practicing self-care. So giving back to others, whether it's a charity or giving back, to a friend or someone in need, that's another really great way of practicing gratitude as well, which also contributes to your well-being. I know that when I do acts of kindness for others, I just feel so good inside. And I'm not doing it to get anything in return. I just personally feel the sense of satisfaction when I'm giving back. And I know that there are many people in our community here who give to Olive so generously, whether it's a donation or whether, you're sharing an experience, or we have Sister Narmeen who shares all her talent and her gifts with Olive, with all these amazing crafts, and Sister Rabia and others too are just so talented and gifted, and just giving themselves in that way as well, volunteering. There's so many ways that you can give back to your community, and that we may not think about it, but that really also does contribute to our well-being as well. And it also can give you a sense of purpose as well, because hey, at the end of the day, we all need a sense of purpose. Nicola mentioned a gratitude journal. How many here keep a journal? Anyone here write in journal once a day at least, or once a week? Nobody? Well, I encourage you to
Yeah,
Oh.
this is Nicola. Yeah.
That's great, Nicola. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that really quickly without going into too much detail, but really just talk about how do you write like long sentences, or like pages, or do you just write a few words? What does your journal look like?
Well, it's not just a gratitude journal, Anu. It's basically just one of those dollar books from the 99-cent store, and I get a whole bunch of them with a hard cover, and I get up in the morning at some time when I'm free, and I just start to write whatever comes out of my head, whatever's in my heart, whatever's going on, who's upset me, what I'm angry about. It's like I'm talking to God in this stream of writing, and I say, dear God, as I write. It's almost a letter to God, and then somewhere in there I also have to put 3 things that I'm grateful for every day. And it's just getting out, when you've had depression for years, it's like the stuff is always wandering around in your head. So for me, they were telling me to get it out of my head and onto paper. Whatever it is that's I'm thinking of, or mulling over too long, and writing it down. And so I do, and then it makes me feel better. And then I think about what I'm grateful for, and like you said, that makes me feel much more at peace. And so I try to do a few pages every day. They tell us to do 2 or 3 minutes of writing. Sometimes it's just whatever comes up. And at the end of the day, to do it again, to review the day and see how I showed up in the world. I mean, this is basically all 12-step stuff. But how did I show up in the world for other people? Was I mean to anybody? Was I rude to anybody? Or what did I do that was good? This kind of thing. So
excellent. That's excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate that. And that's the thing. I mean, sometimes it's just even writing a gratitude list. You don't have to write a whole, page or 2 or 3, but just even writing it down. It's one thing to think about what we're grateful for, but just writing it down, it feels different, and your heart just feels lighter. So I'm going to ask all of you really quickly, because I'm keeping mind of a time as well. If I could ask each of you right now, what are you grateful for today? Really quickly around the room, who wants to start?
My grandchildren.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
My grandchildren right now. Yes.
Excellent. Next.
Everything. If I start writing, I don't think I will be able to write, but being a human, still ungrateful.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Next.
I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my grandchildren. I'm grateful for the food I have today that I'm preparing for them.
Excellent.
Happy to be alive.
Excellent. Next, thank you.
I'm Nicola. I'm grateful that I found a good surgeon, and I think this third surgery is going to go really well this time. And I'm
Excellent.
grateful that I have a decent apartment. I have food on the table. My kids and my grandkids are healthy and well.
Excellent. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing. Who's next?
I think I'm grateful for, just breathing, being able to breathe, without any problems and issues, especially with the pandemic. That made me really realize that very normal thing that we involuntarily do was so precious for so many.
Yeah, so true. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Anu, if you don't mind, I'd like to share one quick, since you were talking about gratitude journals. My kids gave me these 2 little journals. They have prompts in them. One is a self-care journal and one is a simply grateful journal, and they have prompts in them. So sometimes, you don't know what to write, but it kind of like forces you to kind of, come up with something like, what did you do today to take care of yourself and whatnot. I think they were good gifts I think I got them for my birthday last year, and unfortunately I haven't written them. That's another step, right? But so I have it in my hand, but I need to,
I'm going to hold you accountable.
Hold myself accountable to finishing them. I like having things like this next to my bedside, so then it kind of prompts you or reminds you when you're more relaxed in the night.
Absolutely. Yeah, those journals with the prompts are great, because sometimes we're like, okay, we need to write something, but what do we write? But the prompts are great too, because they make you think about something that you may not have thought about in the past about writing down. So they're great. Who have we not heard from? Okay, I don't want to force anyone that they don't have to share, but we have to move on. But yeah, just take a moment and just be grateful for something today. I'm grateful for so many things personally, but I would say that I'm really grateful for transitioning into working as a consultant rather than having a full-time job, because it gives me the flexibility to do all the things that I'm so passionate about, including this kind of work here that I'm doing today, is talking about the things that I'm so passionate about and connecting with people like yourselves, and like, how amazing is it for me to be facilitating a workshop in California, sitting here in my dining room. So that is just such a true blessing. And so very grateful for that. And also grateful for the sushi that I'm going to eat after this presentation with my friend, going out for lunch with my friend. So yeah, that's awesome. All right, so the next slide, we're going to talk about something that we all know that is so important. And I hope my slide is coinciding with this, but I'm going to talk about exercise. And so we all know the benefits of physical activity. And I think it's great that Olive incorporates physical activity in some way or form into all of our programs. Sophia will be back in the fall, and I know she's really great at her, facilitating the exercise classes that she does, and we have all of outdoor programs as well. And so all these different ways for us to move our bodies is a really, really vital aspect of maintaining our health and wellness and practicing, self-care. So how many here go for walks every day, or at least a few times a week? Hopefully a lot of us. I know that when I stay too sedentary, which is unfortunately probably more often than I should, but that's the nature of my work. I'm at a computer often, but when I do take the time to work out and even go for a walk in the fresh air, I automatically notice a shift in my energy, in my headspace, and my creativity. Sometimes, where in my work, I'm often always being called on to write and create something or the other. And when you're sitting in one space for too long, it gets really challenging. And so having a change of environment, getting out there, breathing the fresh air. We're so fortunate to have access to fresh air. All these things make such a difference. And there's so many ways for us to exercise. It's not like we have to go to a gym or pay for expensive classes. There's so many things we can do even in our homes with no equipment. Sorry for the noise. I have a truck outside my house. And so, yeah, so it's very, very important. And I think we all know the benefits of, exercise, increasing those endorphins in our bodies, which give us the benefits that we need in order to, nurture ourselves. So that's for sure. So maintaining a balanced diet is another important one for practicing self-care. I know for myself that there are weeks where it gets really busy because of our lifestyle. We're pretty busy people with our jobs and other commitments, and so we generally plan our week in terms of what we're going to be eating that week. But some weeks doesn't always happen that way, and so the times when we don't eat as healthy as we should, we really feel it. My husband and I, we really feel it. Don't feel as energetic. Just that we feel heavy in our heads as well as in our bodies as well. But nutrition plays such a huge role in all aspects of our health. And we all know this. We learn about this a lot at Olive, and Zainab, being a dietitian, she could tell you lots about that as well. But all these different foods that we take in have multiple benefits, like fruits and vegetables and proteins. And so taking the time to learn about the different benefits of nutrition, it's one thing to just know that, I know I need to eat my fruits and vegetables, but how do those foods impact us? Because I think that's one thing important for us to pay attention to is, like, even though there are all these foods that we should be eating, sometimes certain foods don't work well with our bodies. So we have food intolerances. And so also just being mindful in terms of what foods make us feel good and what foods do not make us feel good. There are some people who are allergic to gluten, some people are allergic to dairy. And so sometimes we eat foods and we say, oh, we don't really feel that well, but we don't do anything about it. And then we start seeing a pattern. It's really important to address that, because there could be something going on internally that that can be addressed simply by seeing our doctor and maybe going through some tests and whatnot. So Zainab, maybe I can call on you for a second here, and maybe you can just share what the recommendations are. We have a Canada's food guide here. So do you have something similar in the States?
All right. I'm sorry, I was muted. So over here we have the healthy plate. Over here, they got rid of the pyramid, and they want you to encourage you to have a majority of your plate being fruits and vegetables, and another 1/4 your protein, and another 1/4 your grains and carbs, basically, or starchy vegetables. And it's a great way to kind of, make sure that you are doing the right portions for the certain types of foods, and it keeps us, balancing our nutrition in a more healthier fashion, because being from the South Asian background, guess what half your plate is? Usually the grains, the rice, and whatnot. So it kind of brings in that mind-body balance and encouraging you to have different types of fruits and vegetables, not just the simple one or two.
Hi, this is Dwight, president of Mesa Garage Doors. Today, I'd like to go over some common challenges.
So that is what we have going on here. And we make sure that we eat healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Yeah. And keeping ourselves hydrated. And now with the whole thing about antioxidants, right? Like eating things that kind of avoid inflammation and keep us more boosting our immune system and our brain health as we age. So eating more nuts and berries and all that, you know, the superfoods as they are called, can also incorporate, you know, a more healthier lifestyle. And when you're healthy, you feel good. It's a
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned, it's a practice. It's a self-care practice. And we don't give it enough attention as we should, but food in itself is a self-care way of making sure that you feel healthier, more energy, you know, sleeping well, that's a big one. So it can be one thing. For health is a little bit everything, right? So health, the definition of health is social, physical, and mental well-being. So all those aspects should be given attention to. And once you do, then it's definitely a brighter and healthier self.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It's so true. Food plays a really huge role in our well-being, and that is part of self-care practice as well. And yeah, it's a big topic, so I won't get into it any further, but definitely maybe another workshop. So anyway, so we will move on to the next slide, and that's about practicing mindfulness. Now, this is something, mindfulness has really taken off, the whole topic of mindfulness over the past few years, I would say. And mindfulness is what you're, you know, intensely feeling in the moment. And so it's about feeling without judgment and interpretation. So it's just really being in the moment. And it's again, mindfulness is another really big topic. But what I want to say about this is that we can practice mindfulness just for a few minutes a day. It doesn't have to be something daunting and overwhelming because I know sometimes we feel that all these things are great, but how and when can we incorporate all this into our life? I know for myself, like I want to start meditating, and I know it's very good for me, but in the past, I've always thought, when am I going to do this? Because my mind never quiets. And it's always moving and thinking about the next thing and the other 100 things that I have to do. But sometimes even just starting out really small and making it like being more intentional, even that can make a big difference. So I have a friend who might take out maybe once or twice a day, just only 2 minutes, where she will just stop everything she's doing, step away from her computer, sit somewhere comfortable, and just close her eyes and just take some deep breaths and really think about, try to quiet your mind and not think about anything if possible, and just focus on your breath. And so there are different mindfulness practices you can do as well, but this is something really easy you can start doing to incorporate mindfulness, you know, into your life. So you could also go for a walk in nature, because like I mentioned earlier, when you're among nature, it's a wonderful way to calm yourself down, whether that's near water. My husband, when he's stressed, we know we're going to be going to the beach because he loves to be near water. It's a way that he feels he can calm down. I have some friends who like to go for hikes on the mountain. We have a lot of mountains here in Vancouver. And some people like to go near greenery. So whatever that looks like for you, being in nature is a beautiful way to become more calm and practice mindfulness. Sometimes just even listening to music, so calm music like piano or any other kind of musical instrument that calms you down. This is what I've been doing actually lately. I have a massage therapist who comes to my home, and so I have this Google Home thing, and I put on the spa music. And one day I kept it on and I was working, and I noticed how good it made me feel, um, rather than the other kind of music I usually listen to. It had no lyrics. It was just beautiful, soft music. And I felt really, really good and really calm just by listening to that music. And so sometimes if you're lying in bed at night or taking a rest in the daytime, putting on some soft music can also help as well. And of course, practicing yoga or meditating is another way as well. Deep breathing. My mom is a big proponent of deep breathing. So again, we talked about that a few minutes ago. There's multiple benefits to deep breathing exercises. And so this is very, very good for your health as well as your well-being as well. And just appreciate, what's around you. Like we have so much beauty among us. And it could even be maybe something in your home. Maybe it's maybe a painting or something, you have a form of art or just something you love. Just taking in that beauty and admiration is also just another way as well. Aromatherapy is another thing that I personally love. So as a person who does not have any vision, I don't have the benefit now of seeing things visually. So I love my scents, and that's probably why I love perfume and I love burning oil, aromatherapy oil. Just that scent wafting through the home is something that gives me a lot of pleasure and makes me feel really good. So these are just some examples of what you can do to practice mindfulness. And just one more thing I wanted to mention that came up on my list as well that I should have mentioned as well, that I've been doing more and more of, is turning that TV off. I know that a lot of us like the TV or for entertainment or getting our news, but honestly, sometimes just turning that thing off and focusing on something else can make such a world of difference, because I just find that nowadays I feel really almost irritated when the TV is on. If it's like a little bit too loud or just negative news and just too much reality TV on there, like it's just, I just don't even like it. And so sometimes it's nice to have a break from the TV and just even be in silence or put some music on is something that I really like to advocate for. All right, so there are some great apps that also we can take advantage of. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of people now have mobile devices. There's lots of different apps you can get. Some of them are free. So there's just some that I'm going to mention here, like Breathe. There's one called Calm, Headspace, and the Mindful app. And so, yeah, so there are all these different ones you can also look at to see what they offer as well. Okay, so the next one I wanted to go to, just in terms of our time, is spiritual practice and prayer. So there's a lot of benefits to prayer, and prayer looks different to everybody. Some people have spiritual practices. Some people just, go to church, they pray. And so whatever that looks like for you, taking time, if that is something that resonates with you, taking the time to pray can really help you maintain well-being and also contribute to your self-care practices. Now, I will say for sure with my mom, I know for a fact that when she does not practice her daily rituals in terms of her prayers, she feels so off. She just does not like it at all. And if she has appointments that she has to make for doctors or whatever that looks like, everything revolves around that daily practice, because that is what sets the tone for her for the day. And she takes it very, very literally, very, very seriously. You don't mess with her prayers. So, and that really, I've seen the benefits. Gosh, my mom is probably one of the most calmest people I know, and so and that gives her a lot of joy, a lot of peace, and so that's something that yeah, that can definitely help if that's something that resonates with you. All right, so sorry, give me 1 second here. So you can pray by yourself, you can pray with a friend, you can pray with, you know, in a group. It's just whatever works for you. Reading. I know reading is another one that can really benefit you as well. How many people here read regularly? Anyone here reading a good book right now?
I read. This is Nicole again, and I read the Bible.
Yeah.
I read a whole lot of 12-step literature. I'm reading a book right now called Nonviolent Communication on how to get more from communicating with my family so that don't have all these dysfunctional arguments all the time. So yeah, I read all that.
That's great. That's fabulous. Yeah. That's fabulous. And so, yeah, so reading is really a great way to be able to relax. My husband likes to read at night, even if it's a few pages, but just something, you know, it's nice to be able to do that. Reading can lower blood pressure. It can decrease your heart rate and your stress. I did not know this actually. When I was preparing for this workshop, I didn't know that reading can actually, you know, lower your blood pressure. But I guess that kind of makes sense because it's calming you down, right? So apparently, reading for only 6 minutes a day can reduce stress up to 68%. Isn't that incredible? I thought that was pretty incredible. So I listen to audio books a lot, like through Audible and through the library, and I really enjoy that. I don't always have the time, the leisure of time to do it, but when I do, I really do enjoy it. And so you get to learn a lot, and sometimes just turn the brain off and just read something that doesn't require any kind of learning or follow-up or anything like that, which is really, really nice. All right, so the next slide is about being creative. And I know here with Olive Connect and Create, there's lots of creativity going on, and even in Live Learn Thrive sometimes. And so just being creative is just a really great outlet to be able to bring your imagination into play. And really just have a fun way of connecting with others and using your mind in a different way. So being creative can also decrease your stress and foster those good feeling hormones as well. So and then sleep is also very, very important. Someone mentioned earlier. So it's really important to get that, 7-8 hours of sleep per night. It makes a significant difference just in terms of our bodies. Our bodies go through so much during the day. And so getting that proper amount of sleep is vital. And I know for me personally, when I don't get enough sleep, I really feel it. My brain feels foggy. I feel lethargic sometimes. And then sometimes, when you end up not being able to sleep, you come down and you eat something. And so it's not a good thing. And so whatever you can do to incorporate healthy sleep habits, and perhaps another time we can do a workshop just on healthy sleep, because there's so much to learn about incorporating healthy sleep habits. So just all these different things we can do prior to sleeping to set us up for a successful night of sleep. So on that note, we are just about out of time and almost the end of our workshop here as well. So really quickly, I'd like to go around the room and ask which of these self-care practices resonates with you? Like, what is one thing that you will incorporate into your life moving forward in terms of taking care of yourself?
I need to start writing in those journals. I have the means.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, same here. Basically, I do everything that you just have talked about, except for writing. So probably, Zainab, we should buy some journals. Thank you, Anu. It was a wonderful presentation.
Yeah, I think I
Definitely.
should start writing too. You know, when you write down, it helps you a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing too. I mean, I started a journal, but I don't write in it enough and often enough. And I am going to also say that I'm also going to commit to writing in my journal.
Very good class. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Anyone else who has not spoken who would like to share? No? All right. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you so much. Zainab, thank you for inviting me to share today. And like I said, it's a topic that resonates with me a lot. And I love talking about self-care. So thank you.
Thank you, Anu, for coming. We had all the way from Canada, international speaker right there. But you are an inspiration for all of us, and I am always inspired by how you stay connected in so many different ways, and you really opened a new vision, literally saying no pun intended there, for us to really schedule a time and place, because the self-care topic comes up all the time in our mental health sessions, and highlighting it is so important. So thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Anu. It's a good reminder for us all to be grateful for all the things that we're blessed with, and thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anu. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola, and thank you for sharing.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Olive Community Services is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in Southern California that provides culturally appropriate services to seniors, their family, and the community. Through its physical and virtual interactive programs, Olive engages participants in a variety of ways that promotes health and well-being. To learn more about Olive Community Services, to get involved, or to make a donation, please visit www.olivecs.org or email info@olivecs.org. Be a change maker, and together, let's live, learn, and thrive.